no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue old home.
Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry seas, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls,
making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue old home. Upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on. Read the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat.
are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate, greed, and jealousy. We are working to be free.
We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need.
Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world would die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building. We're building a new way. Yeah, I heard it. We're building us a new way. Yeah, I heard it on the front line. That we're building us a new way.
You are the new day. You are the new day.
so brilliantly.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta and our live stream service. We have a special lay minister-led service this morning about loneliness and solitude. The first song we're singing is a gorgeous, gorgeous hymn called Bright Morning Stars Are Rising. In this service, join in, sing along with the hymns, light your chalice along with us, read along with us, be fully present in this moment. This is Bright Morning Stars. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is a breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear mothers? Oh, where are our dear mothers? They are sowing seeds of gladness. Day is a breaking in my soul. Oh, where are our dear fathers? Oh, where are our dear fathers? They are in the fields a-plowing. Day is a breaking in my soul. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is a breaking in my soul. So happy you've all chosen to join us this morning. It is the best place to watch worship anywhere in the world right now.
Good morning. Welcome to Sunday morning worship with the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta, a beloved community that changes lives. Wherever you are from, whomever you love, and whatever path you are on, you are welcome here. Check out UUCA's weekly update email for ongoing updates about our Sunday live streamed worship and other programs that we will bring right to your home. Now, an announcement from President-elect Sean Golan.
Hi, I'm Sean Golan, your President-elect. I grew up at UUCA and I've been a member for almost 20 years. And so I'm exceptionally proud to roll out our capital campaign, Building a New Way Together. Right now, until August 13th, each of you has an opportunity to share what matters most to you about UUCA's programming and how we use our future building. I attended a focus group just the other day, and I can tell you they're a great way to hear a brief overview of the campaign timeline, see the latest floor plans for our new campus, and give input on how we use our future home. So you can register at uuca.org/register. I want to encourage everyone who participates in our vibrant spiritual community to attend at least one of these sessions. We are seeking your input. That's right, you. So come to as many focus groups as you like, but please do come to at least one. And again, you can register at uuca.org/register. This is a chance to help craft UUCA's plan as a whole and help us decide what to focus on in the near future. If you miss a session that you sign up for, you can always register for another one, as long as it's before August 13th. The last focus group is going to be at 7:30 p.m. August 13th. So please do go to uuca.org/register.
There are 10 more opportunities to attend one of our focus group sessions between now and Thursday, including 2 this very afternoon. You can sign up at uuca.org/register. We are excited to invite you to our Zoom Room Social Hour happening immediately following the service. If you haven't already, please sign up to get an invitation to the Zoom Room Social Hour, which is so much fun to say also, by following the link in your weekly update or the link provided in the live stream chat. Through the live chat, we can express love and care for each other. Please take a moment to welcome one another and to welcome anyone who may be visiting into this morning's worship. Once again, we're glad you have chosen to worship with us this morning. Let's say the chalice lighting words together. May the light of this flame illuminate our tradition of seeking, invite all who yearn for acceptance, and ignite our passion for justice and peace. I'm glad no one's here, just me by the sea. I'm glad no one's here to mess it up for me. I'm glad no one's here, just me by the sea. But man, I wish I had a hand to hold. I saw an orange starfish on the side of a rock. I poked on his back and tried to pull him off. A crab scared me away. He ran close to my toes. And man, I wish I had a hand to hold. Nowhere, almost time for the sun. The voice of the waves sounds anciently young. I'm a prisoner of freedom, 10 toes in the sand. And man, I wish I had a hand to hold. I'm in the habit of being alone. I try hard to break it, I can't on my own. I'm glad no one's here, just me by the sea. I'm glad no one's here to mess it up for me. I'm glad no one's here, just me by the sea. But man, I wish I had a hand to hold.
Now let us join together with the Wingfield family. Please rise in body or in spirit. Let's do our Sunday morning movement prayer.
First, we bow to honor the spirit of life. We lift our arms and embrace the gifts of spirit. We bring these gifts unto ourselves with gratitude and breathe and smile. Share these gifts with the world. We remember to be present. Honor, embrace, gratitude, share, be present.
Hello, my name is David Hanna. I'm a lay minister at UUCA. Now, my original plan for this homily was to start out with a little joke this way. An introvert and an extrovert walk into a bar, but I just couldn't find any good jokes. So I will say this, though. The labels introvert and extrovert have never been particularly appealing descriptors of people for me. They've always seemed overly constraining and too restricted to sum up anything as complicated and as contradictory as a human being. But I once heard a definition that made me think differently about these two overused words. The definition is in the form of a question. How do you fill up your cup? One's emotional, psychic, and spiritual cup, or all three. Do you do it via social interaction with friends and family? Or do you do it through moments of solitude? Now, as the thinking goes, if you do it through social interaction, you fill up your cup through social interaction, you're an extrovert. If you fill up your cup through solitude, you're an introvert. Now, consider and reflect on yourself in these terms. My view is, in contrast to the cup-filling properties of solitude, loneliness drains one's cup. It drains our reserve. So how do you fill up your cup in the time of COVID? In a time filled with more moments of forced solitude than we all normally experience. The term forced solitude actually makes me reflect back on a trip I took to China about 4 years ago, right when I started coming to UCA. It was a kind of cultural exchange trip with an equal helping of martial arts thrown in, which is another story. Our traveling group was half native Chinese and half American. My roommate was Chinese and spoke almost no English, but I can tell you he talked in his sleep in Chinese. And as a group, we traveled and ate every meal together for over 2 weeks. So I had a chance to observe authentic Chinese culture very much up close during this time. And what really came home to me once I got back to the U.S. was this personal observation. In China, one has to put in effort in order to be alone. If you want to be alone, you have to put in effort into obtaining solitude. Personal and psychic boundaries are just set differently there. In contrast, in the U.S., my observation was that one has to put in effort into not being alone, that you have to put in effort into not being in solitude. Now, how this cultural difference bears on China's reaction to the virus is one for others to study, but I merely tell this story as a lesson about us as Americans. Loneliness and solitude seem to be our default state. And it takes effort in this country not to be in that state. So for those Americans needing to refill their cups, but in the process are breaking health guidelines and regulations, my heart actually goes out to you. It's not easy to turn off the conditioning pushing us to connect or else suffer isolation happily. Now, that word isolation, it's a tricky one when we're talking about introverts, extroverts, and cup filling. And I see my introvert and extrovert friends personally handling this situation very differently, as I'm sure you do. Isolation has been thrust on all of us to varying degrees. Of course, in small amounts, isolation is just a part of normal living, as we all know that. But it's the unplanned for, unasked for, and what feels like coerced isolation that I'm referring to here. Anyone that's had to be in quarantine for 2 weeks knows exactly what I'm talking about. Now, forgive the brazen generalization here, but the introverts I know are saying, I got this. But the extroverts were the first ones to beat a path to Zoom happy hours, and I salute you. But as we near month 5 of COVID quasi-lockdown culture, or whatever it is we call Georgia's particular brand of lockdown, not lockdown, it seems like we're all becoming omniverts. Yes, omniverts. We've switched psychic places in order to survive. I'm witnessing extroverts by necessity learning how to refill their cups in this new experience they call solitude. And I'm seeing introverts seeking social opportunities in order to refill their cups, things they didn't do in the past. Go figure. And thereby each is learning the virtues of each other's state, the bliss of solitude, and the thrill of social interaction. So let 2020 be known as the year of the creation of omniverts, the year where yin truly met yang, and vice versa, and said, you know, I may not like you, but I see you more clearly now. So it probably goes without saying, but 2020 will be remembered for many things for each of us, right? And it's only August. For me, that list is too darn long to even take a crack at. Now, of course, it's natural and reflexive to only think about and reflect on what's been lost. A far more challenging practice, and one some of you already incorporate into your daily routine, in fact, I know some of you incorporate this into your daily routine, is noticing and acknowledging the unexpected gifts that have come into our lives as a result of COVID. If anything can be called spiritual practice, surely this is it, right? But rather than risk casting the net too wide on this topic, I'd like to focus more on gifts we received as a result of either supporting ourselves or supporting others. Speaking for myself, I've had to step in a much more aggressive way than I would have in normal times to assist a close family member for the first time experiencing intense disconnection and mental isolation as a result of COVID. With some gentle coaching, though, this person is now doing what previously seemed really unimaginable to me. Seeing a psychotherapist to confront issues too long ignored, and writing a heartfelt letter in an attempt to reopen a painfully closed relationship with someone very special and dear to them. What has come back to me is not refilling of my cup, but of my supersized mug. And then there's the example of my dear old friend Terry, a father of 3 who ended up in the hospital fairly recently due to COVID. The support and overall response from their community, Terry and his family's community of friends, truly overwhelmed them and allowed that community to show its true mettle. The family now sees the response as the reason Terry turned a corner 6 days after being admitted to the hospital. Now, would Terry and his family have been able to see such visceral love in action without this COVID trauma? I wonder. And the whole community seems to have received the gift of getting their collective cups filled. Even if your specific spiritual practice hasn't really changed much during COVID, but merely been amplified, one thing seems clear. COVID has made the world a smaller place and has brought the global village to its knees. The grief, the tragedy, the suffering we're witnessing globally is well chronicled. But I wonder what gifts this pandemic has brought us. Will the pandemic have allowed us as travelers on this blue boat home to take a time out and refill our cups? Will the pandemic reaffirm the reason we connect with others and reaffirm that which makes life rich and beautiful? The in the flesh, the in the present moment human connection. Will we see more clearly? Will we have been reawakened to the fact that the act of connecting is actually as vital to us as the air we breathe? Will we come to fully understand and know that, in fact, it is the air we breathe?
Blessed Spirit of my life, give me strength through stress and strife. Help me live with dignity. Let me know serenity. Fill me with a vision. Clear my mind of fear and confusion. When my thoughts flow restlessly, let peace find a home in me.
Let us put our hands on hearts, feel the warm connection. Let love at this moment flow. Say to yourself silently, I will love myself, I will love others, and that love will heal the world. At this time, we hear the joys and sorrows of this congregation. On Friday, July 31st, Diane Garnell and Bill Tarr welcomed a new granddaughter, Kalina Jade, daughter of Diane's daughter, Angela, little sister of Olivia Rose, 17 months old. 6 pounds, 13 ounces, 19 inches long, Mama, baby, and the rest of the family are exhausted, but overjoyed. Let us send loving thoughts to Jean Johnson's daughter, Helen. Jean was a long-time UUCA member and was preceded in death by her husband, Roger, who was instrumental in forming the Ins and Outs group at UUCA. Jean's service is to be announced. And now you are invited to type into the chat the names of people you are holding in your heart this morning. Type their names into the space now. As humans, we have gathered for millennia, so we gather on this day to gently surrender to something beyond ourselves, to humbly acknowledge our mistakes, to seek hope and renewal, to honor the earth that supports and sustains life, to remember that all beings are inextricably and mysteriously connected. Now, as we still our bodies and we still our minds, We take in a big breath and then we exhale. We relax into this space that our intentions make sacred. We enter into the wise silence.
Spirit of great mystery, hear the still small voice in me. Help me live my wordless creed as I comfort those in need. Fill me with compassion, be the source of my intuition. Then when life is done for me, let love be my legacy.
Good morning. My name is Kate Sweeney, and y'all, I'm wearing nail polish for this occasion. Left hand done by my 5-year-old manicurist. Hi, Davy. So this is a story about loneliness and community, and in the end, about why this community is a godsend for me, and I have to imagine others like me. A couple of years ago, I was on a walk when I spied a couple, a young man and woman with a little girl in a stroller, about the age of my own child. "Oh, you have a kid?" I blurted out. "How old is she?" Following up quickly with a smile that broadcasts simple friendliness, I hope, rather than a creepy lady accosting a couple on the street. "She's 3, said the woman, and then quickly added, "But we're about to move," raising a hand, and it was the palm of her hand, but still, the gesture was not unlike that of a married person in a bar flashing her ring finger. This interaction seems innocuous enough, a mother looking for other families to hang with, in this case, unsuccessfully. An interaction that stems from a longing, as much for people as for place, a precise sort of Shangri-La that's common enough in the American psyche, a neighborhood composed largely of kids and parents. In this place, people stroll up to one another's porches to borrow a cup of flour, to lend a watchful eye and a playmate, or just to say hey. The streets of this Eden are littered with bikes, scooters, and sidewalk chalk. Halloweens are epic. During my prime toddler parenting years, I was never quite successful at finding that Shangri-La, and that fact held within it echoes of other times and places, a longing for home even as I was in it. This isn't a story about mere loneliness, it's about environment. A few years out of college, I was utterly absorbed by the desire to live in a commune or intentional community or whatever you call it when neighbors are all cooking together in a big kitchen, but minus the bearded charismatic leader and the person in sunglasses standing off to the side holding a briefcase filled with everyone's trust fund money. Also, I didn't have any trust fund money. My young imagination landed on a community in the mountains of North Carolina. This was back in the early 2000s when members of this particular community would come into Little 5 Points, selling pamphlets and bumper stickers that read in bold black sans serif, "Quit your moaning, start a revolution." I did not know what this revolution was, but I imagined it had something to do with living off the land, thumbing your nose at the establishment, and learning to survive by your own wits and those of a like-minded can-do group of people. Then one day, someone left a pamphlet for this group in the coffee shop where I worked. It was full of rambling sentences about the philosophy of their founder, this super pure guy with a salt and pepper beard and long hair like ocean waves. He was dead, but his surviving wife, of equally beatific calm and equally oceanic salt and pepper waves, had taken the group over. And really, all of this, the rambling philosophy, the worship of these old hippies, made it abundantly clear that I would never fit in there. But maybe, I thought to myself, if I had to, I could try. Because geographically speaking, this was still the closest thing to Atlanta, resembling my dream of getting the heck away and living life for real. A few years later, I did get the heck away, though to grad school, not to a commune. In grad school, I lived on the North Carolina coast with friends in a house chopped into apartments. And let me tell you about this house. It was a gorgeous, decaying thing. Pocket doors with stained glass windows, sky-high ceilings, cockroaches, and walls with literal mouse holes like in cartoons. Here I found a level and brand of community that I haven't really been able to match since. My roommates and I cooked big breakfasts. We threw impromptu dance parties to blow off steam. But my fondest memories are the long mornings and evenings that I spent writing completely by myself. My bedroom was the smallest of three, located just off the kitchen. It had once been the maid's quarters, and it connected to a second, smaller, windowless room behind it. Now, it was in this inner sanctum that I spent my mornings and evenings writing. These were hours of wonderful, dreaming solitude, the kind of solitude that is only wonderful because it's not mandatory. Friends would walk the winding route back through the house to my door. "Everyone's outside," they would say. "Come on out, come have some wine." It wasn't perfect. The windows of my ground floor bedroom looked out onto a small, poorly lit back driveway, and they didn't quite close. In a fit of distrust of the house itself and its inability to protect me, I stashed my most precious cache of jewelry in a hall closet deeper in the house. The aquamarine earrings that had belonged to a great-grandmother, the mother-of-pearl earrings made from a grandfather's cufflinks, and a few other treasures. Ours was the house famous for parties, and during one, marked by an unusual level of debauchery, including a mystery guest or two, the jewelry disappeared. That loss was tough and opened up a new fear concerning security. All the same, I still daydream about that house. Now, the other night, I had an actual dream, a recurring one. I am back in college, not grad school, but undergrad. And out of some nebulous obligation, I have left my home, my husband, and my child to go live with a 19-year-old in a dorm. In this version, classes are set to start the very next day, but as night falls, I have no place to sleep. I wander back past the small cement block rooms occupied by happily bunked students in sweatpants, eating popcorn and studying. And in the dramatic way of dreams, I weep as I walk, my sense of dispossession complete. Awakening is the same as always, a blessed relief as the ordinary landmarks of home spring up, the insecurities of my peripatetic youth drifting back into the ether. The household where I live today is compact, tidy, and small. Man, woman, and child inhabiting 900 square feet. These days, we are more circumscribed than ever, sealed off from the world by necessity during a time of pandemic. The benign sorts of border intrusion that signal community are off limits to everyone. There are no porch hangouts, no neighborhood play dates, and this fact acts on me as a strange sedative, quieting any fears of missing out that I may have previously harbored. It is in this calm that I recognize the commonalities of the kind of community that I crave. It is an introvert's dream, one of opening the door and finding friends out on the porch, people to talk with. What felt so oppressive about my lonely neighborhood walks as a new mother, I think, was not only the sense that there was no community, but the added weight of the feeling that if I wanted it, the responsibility for community was mine alone to build from scratch. And this is in part why this church community is such a comfort to me. Our dance parties, it will happen again. Our small group ministry conversations, our social justice work, and our efforts at planning for our future together. I find myself anew when I'm here with you. That Ubuntu that was talked about a couple of weeks back, I am because we are. Finally, as for the everyday and my life within the brick and mortar walls of my small home, I'm blessed. I am blessed for the job and home I still have, for our health, but also for the strange way in which this time is working in my favor. In my basement office, sunlight and birdsong pour through one tiny window, and I'm free of the mandatory small talk and sense of exposure that typify a real day of open floor plan office work. And when I have to stretch my legs, there are options. It is an understatement to say I am no longer alone on my walks. Instead, one unlikely road near my house has become the distance Barcelona Ramblas of East Atlanta, populated each evening by joggers, young couples by the dozen, roommates tossing frisbees, and entire families, everyone awkwardly jostling to space themselves apart along this wide street that's usually home to cars flying too fast past our houses. In the time since this time began, I have met 3 different parents with kids my child's age. I love everything about the chats I have with these people, their genuine warmth and brevity, and how they end with a mutual promise of play dates after all this is over. Neighbors more extroverted and more organized about social matters than I am insist on exchanging information. Sure, I say. And in the quiet knowledge of options somewhere down the road and the parting of ways that will occur within 30 seconds, I find perfection. We're all lonely now, but I am markedly less lonely than before on this level playing field. This one damaged world is all any of us have, not one of us bound for some other Shangri-La beyond our ordinary street on a glorious summer evening.
Thank you, Kate. Our call to the offering is adapted from the words of Rebecca Parker. Your gifts, whatever you discover them to be, can be used to bless or to curse the world. The mind's power, the strength of hands, the reaches of the heart, the gift of speaking, listening, imagining, seeing, and waiting. And of any of these can serve to feed the hungry, to bind wounds, to welcome the stranger, to praise what is sacred, to do the work of justice, and to offer love. Any of these can also draw down the prison door, hoard the bread, abandon the poor, obscure the holy, comply with injustice, or withhold your love. Each day and every day, you must answer this question: what will you do with your gifts? Today and every Sunday, you get to choose to give this congregation to this community of love, sanctuary, and justice making. You get to choose to sustain this community that we all depend upon, perhaps today more than at any other time. Give as good as you get. Give as much as you receive, so that this community remains a steadfast presence for yourself and others in a world so in need of healing, as we know. Go to uuca.org/give for information on all of the ways that you can support our community. This morning's offering will now be given and very gratefully received.
This song is from an obscure made-for-TV movie called Evening Primrose, with music written by Stephen Sondheim. The story is of a poet who decides he needs to just run away from all the hustle and bustle of the world. It's just way too much, and he's seeking solitude. So he moves in to a department store where he hides all day and comes out at night. It's very weird, but it works for the service. So this is called If You Can Find Me, I'm Here. Is it done? Are they gone? Am I alone? It's done. They're gone. I'm alone. I am a genius. Charles, you are an unadulterated genius. You are an indisputably extraordinary... What was that? Not a thing. You're a fool. You are alone. And it begins. Careful. Careful. Mustn't get excited. Mustn't overdo it. Softly. Tiptoe. You'll get used to it in no time. Look at it. Beautiful. What a place to live, what a place to write. I shall be inspired. I shall turn out elegies and sonnets, verses by the ton. At last I have a home and nobody will know it. No one in the world, nobody will know I'm here. I am free. I am free. Goodbye, my friends, and good riddance. Pardon while I disappear. Come see me soon in my hideaway. If you can find me, I'm here. Farewell, you blood-sucking landlords, pouring your threats in my ear. Farewell forever to you and yours. If you can find me, I'm here. And I'll stay cozily hiding by day. During the day I'll reside, waiting till you go away. But at night, master of all I survey, everything gets to be mine to own, mine to use, mine to write all the poems I choose. All alone, only me and my muse, and 40 pianos in 10,000 shoes. Goodbye, Neanderthal neighbors, swilling your pretzels and beer. Fair weather friends, do you miss me now? If you can find me, I'm here. Goodbye, despoilers of beauty, ruin another's career. When you wake up with one genius less, if you can find me, I'm here. And I'm free. Free as a bird in a tree, free as these slippers I wear, free with a year's warranty, free as air, all of these products and me. All that I ask is a chair that tilts, books to read, light refreshment before I proceed, and a blazer or maybe a tweed, the barest essentials a poet will need. Live in your barbarous jungle, screaming for ways to get clear. When all the screaming has died away, come and visit my hideaway. I will be glad to provide a way. If you can find me, I am here. I am here. I am here. I am here. I am here.
And now, please join me in the dedication of the offering. Whoa, this very heavy, very heavy. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action we call community, we dedicate our lives, and these are offerings.
My name is Jackie Spierman. I'm a lay minister here. I would like for us to talk about our battle against loneliness. The loneliest moment in someone's life is when they are watching their whole world fall apart, and all they can do is stare blankly. F. Scott Fitzgerald. This quote describes my feelings at my low times during these past months of loss. And there have been for me, and I think for many of you, low times over so much loss. We feel the loss of spending time with people in person. We feel the loss of routine, of our daily lives as we live them. We feel the loss of freedom to move about in the world. We feel the loss of one-time events that we wanted to be there for and cannot be recaptured. For me, it was to be there for a nephew's graduation, a daughter's getting married, being with my sister before she died. As these losses continue, we experience feelings of loneliness. My reaction is, I want somebody to tell me what to do right now. I want somebody to say to me, "Are you upset, my friend? Have you been lying awake, worrying?" Well, don't worry. I'm here. The floodwaters will recede. The famine will end. The sun will shine tomorrow. And I will always be here to take care of you. Just as Charlie Brown had said to Snoopy. The truth is, 2020 has been an ominous year so far. We are going through a time that none of us have ever experienced before. In February, many of us did not imagine how our lives were about to change. When everything closed down, we told ourselves that we were resilient. This wasn't so bad. So many books to read, so much to do in the garden. And we are resilient, but we are also human. We share some common characteristics rooted in our DNA. How many of you have felt sad over canceled travel plans, postponed dreams, nostalgic over memories of going out to eat with friends, a longing for a warm handshake or even a hug? Often we ask ourselves, why can't I cope better? What's wrong with me? But most others, I find, are also feeling this way. Social interaction has been so key to the survival of our ancestors for millions of years. I think the human brain is now hardwired to become addicted to it. Overcoming the primal urge to socialize means going against millennia of evolutionary programming. We are all intensely social, as all great apes are. Our early ancestors were social, not only foraging or hunting together, but also grooming each other, and sometimes communally raising young. Social behaviors made primate communities stronger and offered protection to individual members of the group. So they were passed down to offspring and gradually became cemented in the primate genetic code. As societies evolved, the individuals in them no longer had the time required to groom everyone in their sphere, so meant they developed new social behaviors that also triggered endorphins, allowing them to bond with larger groups. These behaviors include laughter, singing, and dancing, eating socially, and in more recent history, the rituals of religion and drinking alcohol together. We have a need to share our experiences. During the pandemic, the coronavirus has capitalized on our dependence on social interactions to spread the disease. And therein lies the battle. We struggle to fill the void of face-to-face interactions, absence of giving and receiving a hug, a pat on the back, even a handshake. We try various coping mechanisms. There are those who pursue making the best of what they have. Some practice finding joy in the little things. And some of us want to stay strong, stubborn, and positive in the midst of the pandemic. We struggle to accept that there's things beyond our control. Even when things are hard, you get through them. But isolation over time is wearing on the mind, spirit, and body. Studies show that people who maintain a network of people to support them emotionally do better emotionally, cognitively, and even physically. However, distance does not separate people. Silence does. Positive social support is not guaranteed. It isn't delivered with our groceries or our mail. The pandemic has made it difficult for most of us to continue many of our usual activities. But many who still keep going have managed to maintain contact with others, either by Zoom or talking on the phone whenever they can. They're also finding ways to maintain a sense of purpose, which is a major factor in getting through this. UUCA offers several different opportunities for this. Each Sunday after our virtual service, as it will today, you can log in to the Zoom social hour for what I call our virtual coffee hour. There is also a variety of classes from the Adult Religious Education program, ranging from the weekly series, which currently is Successful Aging, to gentle and laughter yoga. There's also the small groups ministry, several social justice groups, programs for parents and families, and soon we hope to launch neighborhood groups, all on Zoom. And of course, our pastoral care program is offered by us lay ministers for those who need some individual support. Candor about struggles can provide some relief, even when it's done over Zoom or an internet chat. Some have found respite from their loneliness in weekly scheduled telephone calls with volunteers, family members, old friends. And even if you can't go to a pride parade, dancing by yourself can improve your mood and cognitive function. No matter how brief the connection, talking to another human being in real time with openness and understanding can lift a person up from the depths of loneliness. Silence is not always the best answer, especially when it robs us of what we most need. Even in this current day world of social isolation and being alone. Speaking up, just speaking up, makes a difference. Know that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to each other and to the wide world through both the best and the most difficult times. I ask that you take 2 thoughts with you today. First, distance doesn't separate people. Silence does. And it takes a village. You are part of this village. And in our village, we care for each other.
Thank you all so much. You know, it's so special to see new faces. It seems so strange, but like it's a wonderful thing on Sunday morning to get to see my sound team friends and to have 3 lay ministers here is really special. So Jackie, David, and Kate, just thank you for sharing your wisdom this morning. And we want to see your faces. So next Sunday is normally our in-gathering service, and we're going to have an in-gathering selfie extravaganza. So take a selfie. You can take one right now of you and whoever you're watching the service with. Take a selfie, send it in to cstrain@gmail.com. You can find it on Facebook or the newsletter. Send them in. We want to see all of your faces next week. That's one of the things we miss most during this quarantine is being seen and seeing each other. So do take part. Our last song this morning, I was thinking of loneliness as a burden that we just need to lay down. And this song is Glory, Glory, Hallelujah. Get up, dance around. It's a fun one. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down. 1, 2, 3. I feel like dancing. Hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down, I feel like dancing. Hallelujah. Since I laid my burden down, life is sweeter. It's so much sweeter since I laid my burden down. Life is sweeter, so much sweeter since I laid my burden down. I feel like shouting, hallelujah, since I laid my burden down. I feel like shouting, hallelujah, since I laid my burden down. Love is shining all around me since I laid my burden down. Love is shining all around me since I laid my burden down. Since I laid my burden down. Since I laid my burden down.
Our spiritual takeaway today, something to do this week. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. This week, I'm asking you 2 things. Make 1 phone call to someone who you care about that lives alone, or you know has been going through a difficult time, or that you think may need a virtual hug. Second, this week, when you feel alone or discouraged, or have just had a hard day, call someone you know and let them know you just wanted to hear their voice. Get a virtual hug for a pick-me-up. We reach out to give, and we reach out to receive. And now our benediction. We each carry within us the need for community. Kept too long without it, loneliness and despair surely follow. So let us create community. In belonging to one another, we find courage. We find hope. We find strength. We find love. In this time of physical isolation, let there be no social isolation. Let us take the time to offer a warm smile, even if it is over Zoom, and a friendly nod, even if it is above our face mask. Let us press palms together through glass. Hug one another through air. Listen and talk to each other as if our lives depended on it, because indeed they do. Our chalice flame is extinguished until we ignite it again with the spark of our communion.
I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue old home.
sun my sail and moon my rudder, as I ply the starry seas, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls,
making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue home. Upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on. Read the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue
Oh,
We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hating, greed, and jealousy. We are working to be free.
We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need.
Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world would die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building. We're building a new way. Yeah, I heard it. We're building us a new way. Yeah, I heard it on the front line. That we're building us a new way.
You are the new day. You are the new day. I will love you more than me and more than yesterday. If you can but prove to
sky, so beautiful, colorful, wide and wonderful. Have you ever felt the sunshine so brilliantly raining down over you and me? Have you ever wanted more? Wanted more? You've got to keep your mind wide open, all the possibilities. You've got to live with your eyes open, believe in what you see. Think of all the days you've wasted, worrying, wondering, hopelessly hoping. Think of all the time ahead. Don't hesitate, contemplate. No, it's not too late.